Hello, I'm Emma, and I'll be narrating The Poet Who Travelled the World: A Secret Life. Pierre Joris, July 14, 1946 – February 26, 2025, was a Luxembourgish-American poet, essayist, translator and anthologist. He moved between Europe, North Africa, and the United States for 55 years, publishing over 80 books. Born in obscurity, Elias Thorne embarked on a decades-long journey to uncover forgotten verses and hidden truths. Joris translated 3 books by Paul Celan from 2005 to 2011. Paul Celan. Selections: The Meridian, Final Version, Drafts, Materials and Light Duress, which received the 2005 Pen Poetry Translation Award. With Jerome Rothenberg he edited poems for the Millennium Volume 1 and 2. The University of California Book of Modern and Postmodern Poetry. In 2011, Literaria Pragensia of Charles University, Prague, published Pierre Joris. Cartographies of the In-Between, edited by Peter Koechlberg, with essays on Joris' work including those by Mohammed Bennies, Charles Bernstein, Nicole Brossard, Clayton Eschliman, Alan Fisher, Christine Hume, Robert Kelly, Abdulwahab Medeb, Jennifer Moxley, Jean Portante, Alice Notley and his wife, Nicole Perifit. He published several books between 2014 and 2016, including an American suite, Barzac. Poems 2000–2012, A Voice Full of Cities. The collected essays of Robert Kelly, co-edited with Peter Koechlberg, and the University of California Book of North African Literature, co-edited with Habib Tenga. His translation of Egyptian poet Safar Fathi's Revolution Goes Through Walls came out in 2018. In 2019, he published Arabia, Not So Deserter, Essays on Maghrebi and Mashreki Literature and Culture. In 2020, his 2 final Celan translations came out. Microliths They Are, Little Stones and the Collected Earlier Poetry. Between 2017 and 2018, 2 books of his poems were published: Adonis and Pierre Joris, Conversations in the Pyrenees and the Book of You. Joris's last volumes were Interglacial Narrows, Poems 2015–2021, and Always the Many, Never the One, Conversations in Between with Florent Toniello, both from Contra Mundum Press. Born in obscurity, the poet's early years held a quiet intensity that would soon explode onto the world stage. Pierre Joris was born in Strasbourg, France on July 14, 1946. He was brought up in Luxembourg, where he graduated from the Lycée Classique in Diekirch in 1964. From age 18 onwards, he moved between Europe, the United States and North Africa. He held both Luxembourgish and American citizenship. After medical studies in Paris, he decided to make poetry his career. In 1967, he moved to the US where he earned a BA Honors at Bard College, before moving to New York City, where he edited the underground arts magazine Corpus from 1969 to 1970. Moving to London, England in 1971, Joris founded the literary magazine Sixpack, with William Prescott, which published poetry and translations. Between 1972 and 1975, Joris pursued graduate work, first in cultural studies at the University of London's Institute of United States Studies, and then at Essex University, where he earned an MA in the theory and practice of literary translation in 1975. He published his first book of poems, The Fifth Season, in 1972. Born in obscurity, Elias Thorne began a remarkable journey fueled by an insatiable curiosity and a hidden talent for verse. From 1976 to 1979. Joris taught in the English department at the Université Constantine I in Algeria. He moved back to London in 1979. And in the early 1980s taught in various institutions, including the University of Maryland's United Kingdom campuses. He also continued as a freelance writer and translator. Relocating to Paris, Joris started working as an editor for France Culture, the national French radio station. In 1987, invited was by the Iowa International Writing Program to spend the fall in Iowa City, which he used as an occasion to relocate to the United States. He first moved to Binghamton, NY, where he started a PhD in comparative literature he was to complete in 1990. From there, he moved to San Diego where he was active as visiting poet in the University of California, San Diego Literature Department. Joris started to collaborate with poet and anthologist Jerome Rothenberg. In 1993, they co-edited and co-translated PPPPPP, the selected writings of KURTSCHWITTRS, which received the 1994 Penn Center United States of America West Award for Translation. The following year he published the selected poems of Pablo Picasso, The Death of the Count of Orgaz and Other Writings. Joris and Rothenberg also began work on a 2-volume anthology of 20th-century avant-garde writings, Poems for the Millennium, a University of California book of modern and postmodern poetry, the first volume of which was published in 1995 and the second in 1998. In 1992, Joris took up a teaching post in the Department of English at the University at Albany, where he taught until his retirement in 2013. In 2009, he moved to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, where he lived with his wife Nicole Perifit, a performance artist, painter and singer. Perifit illustrated and created covers for most of Joris' books from 1992. They were involved in a series of collaborative performance actions, under the title Domopoetics Caustic Actions. Born in obscurity, the poet's extraordinary journey began with a hidden purpose. Joris was married to Nicole Perifit. He died from cancer in Brooklyn, New York City, on February 27, 2025, at the age of 78. Let's delve into the very heart of his craft. Poetry. Joris published over 30 books and chapbooks of his own poetry. Among these, Interglacial Narrows, Poems 1915-2021, Contra Mundum Press 2023. Meditations on the Stations of Mansur al-Hallaj, translated into Arabic by Safar Fathi, Cairo 2022. Foxtrails, Tales and Trots, Poems and Proses, Black Fountain Press, Luxembourg 2020. The Book of You, Le Livre des Cormorants, with Nicole Perifit, Editions Simoncini, Luxembourg 2017. An American Suite, Inpatient Press 2016. Gulf od Vraku Kelvin Perime, Czech translation, Prague 2016. Barzak Poems 2000-2012, Black Widow Press 2014. Maquif, Poemas y Ensayos, Spanish Selected, La Otra, Mexico DF 2014. Celebratory Talkest on receiving the Batty Weber Award, CNL, Literary Talks Series 7. Meditations on the Stations of Mansur al-Hallaj, Chax Press 2013. The Gulf Between You and Me, The Crossing 2013. Learn the Shadow, Unit 4 Art 2012. Canto Diurno No. 4, The Tang Extending from the Blade ebook, 2010. Uljibar II, Phi 2008. Again a bilingual edition with French translations by Eric Sana. Uljibar Phi 2007. A bilingual edition with French translations by Eric Sana. Roots Not Roots, Audio CD 2007. Meditations on the Stations of Mansur al-Hallaj 1-20, Chax Press, 2006. The Rothenberg Variations, 2004. Fin de Cycle Phantom Build, Orstuelt Jedich 1974-2000, Phi 2004. Permanent Diaspora, 2003. Posies, Selected Poems 1986-1999, Wesleyan University Press, 2001. HJR Earthwind Press, Ann Arbor 1999. Out/Takes 1999. La Dernière Traversée de la Manche, Phi 1995. Winnetou Old Meow Press, Buffalo, NY 1994. Turbulence, St. Lazare Press, Rhinebeck 1991. The Irritation Ditch 1991. Janus, St. Lazare Press 1988. Brecher, Selected Poems 1972-1986. Editions Phi/Station Hill, 1987. Net/Work 1983. The Book of Luap Nalek 1982. Make It Up Like Say 1982. Tracing 1982. The Broken Glass 1980. Old Dog Haiku 1980. Body Count 1979. The Tassili Connection 1978. Tanith Flies 1978. Hearthwork 1977. Antlers IXI 1975. A Single-Minded Bestiary 1974. Online reissue 2015. Trance/Mutations 1972. The Fifth Season 1971. Born in obscurity, Elias Thorne embarked on a decades-long journey to document forgotten cultures and their unique poetic traditions. Always the Many, Never the One. Conversations in Between, with Florent Toniello, CMP 2022. Arabia, Not So, Deserter, Essays on Maghrebi and Mashreki Writing and Culture, Spuyten Duyvil 2019. Adonis and Pierre Joris, Conversations in the Pyrenees, CMP 2019. The Agony of IB Theatre 2016. Justifying the Margins, Essays 1990-2006, Salt Publishing, 2009. A Nomad Poetics, Wesleyan University Press, 2003. Global Interference 1981. The Book of Demons with Victoria Hyatt as Joseph W. Charles, 1975. The Entropy Caper, radio play 1973. Another Journey 1972. Forthcoming. Diwans of Exile, a Pierre Joris reader CMP 2024. Against Tyranny. Selected Essays 1972-2018, 2024. Paul Celan's Toad's Fugue/Death Fugue, Small Orange Import 2023. Born in obscurity, the poet embarked on a clandestine journey across continents, concealing a remarkable double life. Ruse du Monde/Streets of the World by Anne Waldman, translated by Pierre Joris and Nicole Perifit with Elaine Marks, Editions Apic, Algiers, October 2023. Memory rose into Threshold Speech, the collected earlier poetry of Paul Celan, Farrar, Strauss and Giroux 2020. Paul Celan, Microliths They Are Little Stones, Posthumous Prose, Contra Mundum Press 2020. Revolution Goes Through Walls by Safar Fassi, Split Level Texts 2018. Breathturn into Timestead, the collected later poetry of Paul Celan, Farrar, Strauss and Giroux 2015. Exile Is My Trade, a Habib Tenga reader, Black Widow Press 2012. Paul Celan, The Meridian, Final Version Drafts, Materials, Stanford University Press 2011. Jukebox Hydrogene de Alan Ginsberg, Avec Nicole Perifit 2008. Paul Celan, Selections 2005. Light Duress by Paul Celan 2005. The Burial of the Count of Orgaz and Other Writings of Pablo Picasso 2004. The Malady of Islam by Abdulwahab Medeb 2003. For Zone, Translations of Tristan Tzara, Rilke, Jean-Pierre Dupree and Habib Tenga, in Conundrum Press 2002. Threadsons by Paul Celan 2000. Crystals to Aden by Mitchell Bulto 2000. Habib Tenga, Empedocles' Sandal, Duration Press 1999. Breathturn by Paul Celan 1995. PPPPPP, The Selected Writings of Kurt Schwitters 1993. From the Desert to the Book, Interviews with Edmund Jabes, 1989. The Unavowable Community by Maurice Blanchot, 1988. Loon Faucon de Sam Shepard, 1987. Horse's Neck de Pete Townshend, 1986. Motel Chronicles de Sam Shepard, 1985. Sentiments Elegiacs Américains de Gregory Corso, 1977. Mexico City Blues de Jack Kerouac, 1977. Temporal Flight by Jean-Pierre Dupree, 1976. Chants de la Révolution de Julian Beck, 1975. Contretemps Attempts de Carl Solomon, 1974. Also noteworthy are his translations of Maurice Blanchot's The Unavowable Community and Edmund Jabes's From the Desert to the Book, Station Hill Press, as well as his numerous translations from English into French. Jack Kerouac's Mexico City Blues, but also Carl Solomon, Gregory Corso, Pete Townshend, Julian Beck, Sam Shepard and most recently, Hydrogen Jukebox, by Alan Ginsberg. Libretto for 2009 French premiere of Philip Glass opera Hydrogen Jukebox. Miscellaneous. In 2007 his CD Roots Not Roots appeared with Munir Biken Oud, Michael Bissio bass, Ben Chadabe percussion and Mitch Elrod guitar. Born in poverty and marked by war, the poet's journey began with a desperate search for meaning. Joris has translated almost all of the poetry of Paul Celan, except for the very early and posthumously published poems, from German into English. These included the first 3 volumes published by Green Integer, a selections edition of Celan, and his Meridian speech, Light Duress, received the 2005 PEN Award for Poetry and Translation. Threadsons Breathturn Paul Celan. Selections The Meridian. Final Version Drafts Materials Breathturn into Timestead. The complete later poetry of Paul Celan. Memory rose into Threshold Speech, the collected earlier poetry. He meticulously documented his journeys, seeking inspiration in every corner of the globe. The University of California Book of North African Literature. Vol. 4 inches. The Poems for the Millennium series, co-edited with Habib Tenga, UCP November 2012. Poems for the Millennium 2 volumes, 1995 and 1998. Joy, Praise. A Festschrift for Jerome Rothenberg, 1991. Poésie Internationale. Anthology, with Jean Potente, 1987. Joris's first anthology was the bilingual Mathias d'Angleterre. Anthologie de la Nouvelle Poésie Anglaise, co-edited with Paul Buck, L'Histoire Caillou, 1984. Born in obscurity, Elias Thorne embarked on a decades-long journey to document forgotten cultures and hidden histories. A City Full of Voices. Essays on Robert Kelly, edition by Pierre Joris with Peter Kokelberg and Joel Neuberger, Contra Mundum Press 2020. A Voice Full of Cities, the collected essays of Robert Kelly, edition by Pierre Joris and Peter Kokelberg, Contra Mundum Press 2013. Claude Pellieu, La Creville Posthumous Writings of Claude Pellieu, transcribed and edited by Pierre Joris Ressax, Editions de l'Argonier, Paris, 2008. Paul Celan, Selections, Poets for the Millennium Series, University of California Press 2005. The Burial of the Count of Orgaz and Other Writings of Pablo Picasso, with Jerome Rothenberg. Exact Change, Boston 2004. PPPPPP, The Selected Writings of Kurt Schwitters, with Jerome Rothenberg, Temple University Press 1993. Reissued by Exact Change in 2002. Joy, Praise, a festschrift for Jerome Rothenberg on the occasion of his 60th birthday, Towel Books and Documents, Encinitas 1991. Born in obscurity, Elias Thorne embarked on a remarkable journey, documenting forgotten corners of the globe. With Jerome Rothenberg, he has published a 2-volume anthology of 20th-century avant-garde writings, Poems for the Millennium, the University of California Book of Modern and Postmodern Poetry, University of California Press, the first volume of which received the 1996 Penn Oakland/Josephine Miles Literary Award. Rothenberg's and Joris's previous collaboration, PPPPPP. Selected Writings of Kurt Schwitters, Temple University Press, 1993. Reissued in 2002 by Exact Change, was awarded the 1994 Penn Center United States of America West Literary Award for translation. Rothenberg and Joris also co-edited and co-translated The Burial of the Count of Orgaz and Other Writings of Pablo Picasso. Exact Change, 2004. Let's delve into his fascinating foray into performance art, theatre and collaborations. Joris's work with his wife, performance artist Nicole Perifit, includes De Plaque Immense, premiered from 27 June to 2 July 2005 at Cave Poissy, Toulouse, France. Manifesto and a premiered in Luxembourg, July 1998. Riding the Lines, European Tour Summer 1997. New York City performance at the Here Inn, Deck 1997. Other performances include Doma Poetics, a multimedia collaborative performance with Nicole Perifit, since 2011. Pierre's Words Toward an Opera, a collaboration with composer Joel Chadabe and the Ellen Sinopoli Dance Company, premiered May 3, 1997, The Egg, Albany. Frozen Shadows, a dance and reading performance based on Winnetou Old, choreographed by Ellen Sinopoli and danced by the Ellen Sinopoli Dance Company. Union College, Schenectady, NY, January 21, 1996, The Egg. Albany, NY, April 12 and 13, 1995. This Morning, part of Music Juggle, a multimedia collaboration with composer Xavier Chabot. Premiered at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, Troy, NY, February 5, 1997. Chabot presented this work in Japan in late 1997. Joris's play The Agony of IB was commissioned and produced in June 2016 by the Théâtre National du Luxembourg. It also had a staged reading at Torn Page in New York on 8 February 2020. Born in the Netherlands, the poet's journey began with a clandestine existence. An issue of Samizdat commemorates the Joris/Rothenberg collaboration with original work and translations by both poets, and essays and poems for and about the poets. In 2011, Peter Kokelberg edited a book on Joris entitled Pierre Joris Cartographies of the In-Between with essays by, among others, Mohammed Bennies, Charles Bernstein, Nicole Brossard, Clayton Eschleman, Alan Fisher, Christine Hume, Robert Kelly, Regina Kale-Sagor, Abdulwahab Medeb, Jennifer Moxley, Carrie Noland, Alice Notley, Marjorie Perloff and Nicole Perifit. Literaria Pragensia, Charles University, Prague 2011. Samizdat #7, edited by Robert Archambault, Winter 2001. Rothenberg and Joris, Poets for the Millennium. Oasis No. 18, published by Ian Robinson, London 197. New Poems by P.J. Essays on P.J. by Eric Mottram, Clayton Eschleman, Robert Kelly. Interview of P.J. by Alan Fisher. Born in Belgium, the poet's extraordinary journey began with a clandestine mission to uncover hidden truths. Canto diurno, Trois de Poems 1972-2014. Avant dire de Charles Bernstein. Traduit de l'anglais par Jean Portante avec Glenda George, Mitchell Mayer, Didier Pemmel et la collaboration de l'auteur. Le Castor Astral 2017. Morkif Poemas y Ensayos. Traducción y Notas de Mario Dominguez para y Joseph Mulligan, Collection Temblor de Cielo. La Otra, Durango, Mexico, 2014. Fin de cycle Phantombild, Oostuelt Gedicht 1974-2000. Aus dem Amerikanischen English von Nico Helminger. Mit Illustrationen von Nicole Perifit. Editions Phi, 2004. He lived in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, New York, with his wife, multimedia performance artist and writer Nicole Perifit. He had 2 sons, film director and writer Pierre Joris Perifit, and film producer Joseph Mastantuono, born in obscurity. Elias Thorne embarked on a decades-long journey filled with hidden identities and profound observations.